If you can think of the responsibility of leadership like a fine crystal, you got to treat it very carefully and gingerly, because if it breaks, if it shatters, it's going to be very, very difficult to rebuild that trust. It's going to take a lot of time. It can be done, but it's difficult. And of course, when you put the pieces back together, you got to be careful not to cut yourself in the process. So when you do fail, you have to be very transparent. You have to make sure that the apology is genuine. It's not just you're not deflecting blame.
Sorry, you misunderstood me.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Right.
So it has to be a genuine apology, and then you have to be engaged in long-term sustainable acts of trust building.
I think it raises a really interesting point. You talked about two dimensions of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Competence,
Right.
which is critical, and character.
Mm-hmm.
If you break a competency trust, talk about the distinction between breaking a competency trust versus a character trust.
I think it's an excellent question. And the reason it's a great question is because I think you can much more easily overcome a breakdown of expertise trust, competence trust. I think it's much harder to overcome personal trust breakdown or character trust, because if you can't keep your word, or if you're not perceived to be honest, there's always that question in the back of the mind of a potential follower of whether or not you're worthy of being followed again. So if I had to categorize in terms of the importance of personal trust versus expertise trust, both are critical. You need both, but you got to have that integrity and character. It's so important for the long term.